What's going on, you guys? Thanks for stopping by. Today we are going to be talking about this, the Oura Ring. I've had it for almost a year now. I'm also someone who wears an Apple Watch religiously, so I want to break down the things I like about the Oura Ring, the things that I don't like about the Oura Ring, and if you're someone who is trying to decide between like the smart watches or the smart rings, should you consider getting it? But first, I wanted to take a little getaway out in nature. Cold front came in, so it kind of ruined some of the plans of hiking and being outdoors a lot. I thought now would be a great time to talk about this because I intentionally did not bring my Apple Watch. And this is the first time in, my gosh, I don't even know how long that I haven't worn my Apple Watch. And I did that very, very intentionally. Number one, this trip was to disconnect from technology, but also number two, I have become very, very self-reliant on my Apple Watch to the point where if the battery dies or forget it at home or something, I feel like I can't get a good workout in without it. My walk or my workout did not count in my day if it wasn't registering on my Apple Watch. Call that addiction, call that passion. It was definitely hindering me in like a negative way. And other people would think about it and be like, that's not a big deal at all. But for me, it kind of was, especially because I'm in this era right now of trying to live softer, spend more time in nature and do more meditating. And having this constant need and requirement to close all of my circles all day, yes, it encourages me to be active and stay active. But instead, I don't want to focus so much on that. I'd rather focus on the habits and focus on being proud of myself for what I did that day rather than feeling bad because I didn't close a circle. I love this Oura Ring for a few reasons that I'm going to point out to you, but the main things that I track with this are health related things. For example, my sleep insights, my period cycling. I can track my stress levels and my anxiety in this, and I think that that's such a cool thing. My Apple Watch could never. The amount of detail that this gives is so crazy. Sometimes I'm like, is that really true? Like, how accurate are these numbers? You know what I'm saying? But, you know, I am going to take it and I'm going to appreciate it. And the fact that I can learn something from it makes it all the more beneficial and valuable in my life. So, we're going to break down a few of the things that I love about this Oura Ring. Number one is the sleep insights. With the Oura Ring, it will show you how much time you were in bed versus how much time asleep. And the amount of detail that it gives on like the various phases of your sleep cycle is awesome. So it will show you, how many minutes or hours you were in your awake or REM or light or deep. I don't know, to me, that's pretty cool because I will look at this sometimes and I'm like, oh yeah, I did randomly look at my phone at 3:30 in the morning and like, it shows up. It shows up and it's really cool to see that. And so when I track this kind of stuff, it just makes me more aware of the times I'm going to bed and the times that I'm waking up, and it helps me form better habits around my sleep schedule. Another cool thing about the sleep insights is that it tracks your heart rate and your heart rate variability. And so I don't really know all of the details about that, but I do know that I have been able to see a very big difference if I was extremely active or worked out later in the night. That shows up very differently in my app. Like if I have a lot of stuff going on that day and I'm running a lot of errands, I will be able to see that translate over to my heart rate. The later on in the day that I have caffeine and things like that, it does affect that. So it's really cool to see that, and I can make that correlation really easily. Sometimes they have like tags and you can put, oh, I had caffeine like at 3 p.m., which I normally wouldn't, right? So you can tag that and then track what that looks like the next day. To me, that's like really cool because you can form opinions, gather insight. And if you're someone who's like analytical like me, it really does help just provide more data to back up certain things in your life that you want to change. Number two, I love the cycle insights. So if you're a woman and if you are tracking your period, whether it is for ovulation purposes or the really trendy thing right now is to sync your workouts with your period. And if that sounds like you, the Oura Ring will be really, really cool to have, because with that, you can track exactly what part in your cycle you're in, and it's all based on your body temperature, which I didn't even know was possible, but it really, really is. And it's pretty cool. So you can see right here that it will show you all of that. And this is all based, it's going up and down based on the time of month that it is. And it shows like follicular phase, luteal phase, and it gives you some insight there for tracking purposes. That's all I really use it for, but this is cool because it doesn't require you to use extra apps. That's something to consider if you're a woman and that's important to you. The third thing that I really like is daytime stress. I think that's what it's now called. You can basically track every point of the day and what they're calling it like your daytime stress, but you know, I can think about this as like anxiety or just more active. So it can't tell you, oh, you were stressed, but it can track your heart rate, your activity, and make decisions and, you know, put that in a chart for you to see like how many times in the day did you have stressed peak levels. The next one is engaged, relaxed, and restored. So obviously the closer you get to bedtime, you do want to be in that restored and relaxed section. I do notice that most of the time when I'm exercising or whatever, I'm more in the engaged and stressed. I don't know, it's just an added layer that's like very personalized to you for you to track things like your anxiety or stress, just to manage those levels as much as possible. It allows you to become like self-aware about it. So for example, if I look at my daytime stress like yesterday, you'll notice these really like these big gaps here is because I wasn't wearing the ring because I was charging it. 3 p.m. I was restored, and then I start going up into the engaged, and then I spiked in the stress between like, I don't know, 5:15 and 7:30, which ironically is when I got here, and I was doing a lot of like unpacking and moving things around. So I was a little bit stressed because I was just moving around and I had a lot going on, and it was really cold and windy, and I was trying to rush. And it was a whole thing. You know, that part is very accurate. And I do like that they put these cute little notes like stressful day. This day had quite a few stress peaks, but you made it through. Reflecting back, is there anything about this day that made it higher stress? Were you able to follow it with extra restorative time? Gives you some like really cute prompts or like motivation, or I don't know. It's like a little buddy talking to you and like a little therapy, all wrapped up in one. So I really do like that about the app. I don't think Apple Watch or Apple Health in general could ever do that. They just don't, that's not something it does. Yeah, and the other thing, number 4, the reason I really like it is it makes me aware of my inactive time. Although I do not use my Oura Ring for activity like working out, I truly don't think it does a great job at that. I do use it for my step count just to kind of keep that higher, and my inactive time. So it will be very accurate in showing you how many minutes you stayed inactive. The goal is to stay under like a certain threshold. I think it says like 8. If you want to set goals for yourself, it will show you and have like on your dashboard exactly what you need to look at to prioritize that specific goal. My goal right now is to be more present and focused. The 3 trends you see in home highlight some of the key metrics that are associated with your current focus area. You need to start tracking your total sleep time, your average bedtime, and your readiness score. And if I change my profile to, let's say my focus area is to improve my athletic performance, or it's to develop creativity, you can pick whatever you want as your focus for the month. It will change the dashboard to better suit that type of goal that you have. I like that it's that customizable and it's that catered to your needs. It has a lot of really great insights, and every week you get a weekly report, you get a monthly report, and you get a quarterly report that shares with you the trends that it's seeing across several days, weeks, months, whatever, and gives you like a summary of that so that you're more aware, like, oh, last quarter I wasn't so hot at sleeping, right? So I need to do better at going to bed on time. It's just, I don't know. I love it. For someone who likes data and is a nerd about that, I would say this is really helpful. Let's get into some of the things I do not like about the Oura Ring though, because let's face it, this thing is expensive. Number 1, expensive. And on top of that, there is a monthly subscription that you have to get. Now you don't have to, you definitely could do without it, but I don't think that you can get a lot of those insights that I was showing you, but I may be wrong about that. The one thing I know that it helps with is they do have this like sleeping meditation section. So if you go into like explore, you can have meditate, breathe, sleep, and videos to learn. A lot of people have like Headspace and all those other apps, and they're so expensive for meditating. They're like $100. This is all included, and it's not an expensive membership. It's like $6 or something a month, but it is an added thing on top of already spending like $400 or $500 on a ring. So you do have to keep that in mind. Number two, it is not a good tracker for fitness and activity. So if you are someone who wants to get this because they think it's gonna make them work out more, that's not why I have it. Remember, I do have my Apple Watch for that purpose, but I'm trying to get away from that because I noticed it was not good for my mental health. I want to step away. I want to track habits more than like exercise points and calories and all of that. I want to know that I'm sleeping well, I'm taking care of my mental health, my stress levels. That's what this is for. This is not to track your CrossFit class. And also on that note, I don't love working out with it. So it is a pain because I do wear it like all the time. And so sometimes I will take this off, and like if I'm at the gym, I'll put it on my straw, and I'm so paranoid because it's so small. I don't want it to get lost or bumped or like someone grab it or whatever. The reason I do that is because it's not ideal when you're trying to hold weights. Like if you're doing any type of strength training where there's a barbell, dumbbells, machines that have metal on them, this thing gets scratched up very easily. You know, I've had mine almost a year and there's a ton of scratches on it. I would personally not spend a ton of money and get like the gold and the silver because they're not truly gold and silver, and it's going to scratch and come off. I got like the most basic black one. It's the black shiny, not the black matte, and you can definitely tell that the shine is coming off. You know, keep that in mind. And it's very bulky, so if you look at it, when I hold dumbbells, I can't like hold them like this. I always end up holding it with a finger up because it's just doesn't feel comfortable. I noticed that I was doing that like instinctually without even trying. So I highly recommend that you take this off when you work out. Even if you're wearing gloves or something, it's just an extra like millimeters or whatever that is like pressing up against that weight. Anyway, so try not to wear it when you're working out. From like a fitness activity tracking standpoint, you can look at your total calories burned, and you can also set progress goals, and those goals change. So like on a day where I slept really well and I had a high readiness score, my calorie goal is probably going to be higher than if I had a really hard night of sleep and I tossed and turned. It will change my calorie goal for my exercise, which I think is really, really cool. And recovery time. I noticed that, and I guess this is turning in from like what I don't like to what I do like again, but with recovery time, it will actually showcase if you went too many days in a row with really intense workouts. It will tell you, hey, you didn't get enough recovery. There was like not enough time in between every workout. You haven't rested too much. Your heart rate has not gone down. Stuff like that is really informative, and I think it's a very important thing to know. But as far as like exercise, the main things that it does is it will show you this little graph here below, and it'll tell you how many minutes you have been in high, medium, and low exercise, or daily movement is what they call it. So you could put at a workout, you can choose like strength training, walking, more workouts. You've got all kinds of sports in here: cycling, lacrosse, trampoline, tennis, everything. You can put something in. The only other details you can do is like the start time, how long the workout was, and you can put the intensity. Easy, moderate, and hard can mean so many things to so many people, right? It's very subjective. But that's really it. I don't know, that to me is a bummer. I have never actually documented a workout in here. It's always been on my Apple Watch, and then it will sync with my health app and it'll add the calories in here. So if you are thinking, should I switch from a smartwatch to a smart ring? Here are my two things that I would look at if I'm trying to decide, and I was telling a friend. Number one is, what's the goal of the purchase? If you're getting something you want to help improve your health, I would steer to the Oura Ring. If you are someone who wants something to track exercise and motivate them to work out, and you want something that keeps you in touch with your friends, and you just want something a little more techy, that's what you would get the Apple Watch for. If you're constantly annoyed at like getting notified and you don't want another way for people to get in touch with you, I would get the Oura Ring. So again, it is a personal preference. If you're someone who is constantly trying to answer emails and you have a lot of people needing your attention on a regular basis, you may not want a smartwatch. You may just want the Oura Ring. I don't get any kind of commission off of this. This is not something that's sponsored. I wish it were though. Oura Ring, hook it up. But you know, it's just because I've been wearing it for so long and I look at it every single day. I look at my insights and I've never had an app that was so personalized and so detailed, right? And that's pretty cool. If you are interested, feel free to check them out. Again, this is the one I have, the black shiny one, whatever it's called. Definitely spend the extra $5 a month and get the subscription because I think it's worth it. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments below that I can help answer. Thanks so much for stopping by. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.